All right, we're back here, Money for Breakfast weekend, along with Charles Payne. I'm Connell McShane. Covered a lot of ground. So we're going to talk about this Latino story, which is interesting. The marketing towards that population of people. It's been booming in this country. There's actually a new study out came out from Pew Research, showing the number of Latinos in the U.S. is going to triple by the year 2050. So when that happens, I mean, obviously purchasing power is going to go up. It's expected to reach $1 trillion. $1 trillion in purchasing power by next year, Latino population.
Of course, that means that Latinos have a huge influence on the world of advertising and marketing. Joining us now to talk about how companies targeting Latinos should, what route they should take and consider, we welcome Sergio Alcocer, President of Latin Works in Austin, Texas, and from St. Louis, Keith Levy, Vice President of Marketing from Anheuser-Busch. And Sergio, what's the difference between advertising to a Latino than just regular advertising? How do you distinguish that?
Well, I don't think there's a difference per se. What's different about it is that companies in America today need to understand that there's not such thing as just a big Hispanic market. You cannot have a one-size-fits-all approach. You need to understand who you're talking to. Start from the brand essence. What is your nature? What makes your brand unique? Understand that we are Latinos, yes, but before that we're human beings.
Right.
So there's no patronizing. There's no need to Latinize your brand. There's no need to go out of your way and talk about the tradition of Latin America. So just go straight. Have a disciplined approach, be professional in terms of marketing. Latinos will listen to you.
I think that's a good point in a lot of ways, is people hate to be patronized.
Right.
Anyway, you don't want to talk down to the group, certainly when you're marketing towards them. Keith, I wonder from your point of view, you know, is there anything different you do, though, at the same time? I mean, is there certain types of flavors of beer? I mean, or do you just make the good products you make for everybody else? I know that this is a big consumer base that might be interested in buying them.
Sure, well, I think you have to be relevant. So whether that's a traditional brand that's been around for a while, you have to talk to them in a way where they'll connect with you. So, you know, in terms of the acculturation of Latino, there could be the ones that are just moved here from Mexico or South America. So you need to talk to them in Spanish. You need to be relevant. For the ones that have been here a while, or second generation, third generation, they're living a lot of their life in English. So
right.
For those folks, you don't have to get quite as specific.
What Sergio is saying, Keith, Sergio is saying don't overdo it, in other words. I mean, is that a risk of trying to go overboard, making things look like they're targeted at this type of audience when you really need to make a good product? What do you think of that argument?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I think you can be very disingenuous. Latinos are just as savvy as any other consumer, and they'll sniff that out very quickly. So, but to answer your other question, we do have products that appeal to palates. We had a product we rolled out about 2 years ago called Chelada. It's Budweiser and Bud Light that has Clamato in it. Clamato tends to be a household staple for a lot of Latinos, and pre-mixing it and making it convenient was something that we capitalize on. And that product largely really is enjoying volume from the Latino segment.
Sergio, I wanted to go back on something that you just mentioned earlier about not one size fits all for Latinos. Could you give me an example of how I would market a product differently to, say, someone with Mexican heritage versus Puerto Rican heritage?
Well, depending on the product, first of all. Latinos, we are united by language, but we come from different countries, and each of our countries have different traditions, even different slang, different ways to approach, even different ethnic composition. So depends on the product. The other thing that helps is knowing that in the local level, because Latinos still concentrated in pockets around the country, in the local level you can go safe by saying that on the West Coast you're going to have a majority of a Mexican population, and maybe on the Northeast you're going to have a Caribbean population being dominant. So it's a matter of understanding your plan and determine who you want to advertise, and then in media, through media and localization, be relevant.
Keith, one of the things that I find interesting, a lot of people, a lot of industries and companies understand that the target marketing now. When I go on the website, I do a lot of research, and every time I pull up a company website, about 8 out of 10 times I see a black person on the website. Now, I wonder how many black people actually work for this company. Do you think there's some sort of obligation, if you're going to market to a specific group of people, to make sure also that they're fairly represented within your business as well?
Yeah, absolutely, but I think you have to be careful there too, because just putting a black face or a Latino face in your advertising doesn't make that, you know, good advertising. I think, again, it has to be connective, it has to be relevant, and you have to recognize that, again, that the consumer will not allow you to do that if, again, it's not honest. And so that's a tightrope I think people walk, and the ones that don't do it well will just throw that face up there to say that, wow, we're diverse. You know, we understand this segment. So that's a risk. But you know, I think Sergio made a good point too. You also have to look at how you spread your media and your marketing. I mean, if you look at what we do, we're about 50-50 almost of what we do on a national level and what we do at the local level, because a lot of what Latinos in particular find connection with is what happens in their communities. So, you know, what festivals do they attend? What types of charities are you involved with? What types of things are companies doing, again, that personalize their brand and their company to that consumer?
Interesting. All right, Keith and Sergio, thanks, guys. We appreciate both of you coming on.
Thank you.
Interesting, certainly a big opportunity in there, just because of the demographics.
Just $1 trillion.
We see it in politics, too.
Oh, absolutely.
In terms of how they target the demographics there. All right, millions of people out of work, of course. Guess who's hiring? The NFL.